This is Channel Attitude. Your voice, your right, your freedom.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show where, after the collision, we sift through
the wreckage.
The wreckage. I am your host, Jimmy T. He is my co-host, the best in the world, Jamie the Vet Williams. And welcome everybody who's joined us live right here on Humming Media Group's YouTube channel, on the Twitch, and of course on channelattitude.com after the fact. Vet, what a week of AEW. You know what's funny though, dude? For once, I watched AEW Dynamite live on the Thursday my time. And I'll be honest, man, I shouldn't have done that. I should have waited because even though I remember most of the show, don't get me wrong, it's hard retaining it come Sunday mornings. But too much hoopla on Dynamite, in my opinion. But we'll get to that when we do review it. But it's another round of AEW, right?
Yeah, not only that, but this weekend was absolutely obscene. And it's not even over. We still got two events tonight. You have, not only do you have Double or Nothing, so technically, whether you start the week or end the week with Sunday, wrestling's still going on, so we got Double or Nothing. But then you also have NXT Battleground.
Oh, wow, it's Battleground on this week too. I didn't even realize.
Yeah, so like, not on top of that, you had TNA Under Siege on Friday. You had Saturday night's main event last night. You had your normal shows like SmackDown and whatever. It's like I'm lucky that Collision was on a Thursday. True. Because it would have been really tough to try to have to cram that in. And it's one of those things where I complain about this a lot. Like, there will be weeks where nothing is happening on any weekend, right? And then all of a sudden, everything happens on one weekend. It's bullshit. So is it just because it's Memorial Day on Monday? Is that why we have to have all these wrestling events this weekend? Because Monday's a holiday here in the United States? I don't know what's going on. They really got to start spreading this stuff out a little bit. You could technically have something probably every weekend if you book it.
That's true. And like cold-blooded tits, wrestling overdose. I mean, that's an understatement. I don't get it, man. Like, I don't know how. I mean, Saturday night's main event particularly, that was planned in advance, right? I'm assuming it couldn't have been planned like just the last 2 weeks, right?
Right.
So, and I'm assuming AEW obviously also have planned their shit. Why do they have to all friggin' do? I mean, don't they understand that, you know, it's more money to be made, in particular for AEW, particularly, to go on another, like, change the friggin' date, man. If WWE is going to go head-to-head with you and all these shows all bunched up and a whole bunch of shit, try moving away a little bit, you know what I mean, from him for their own sake, you know what I'm saying? But everyone wants to, like, just pack their shit in, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing we can do about it. It's just going to happen.
Well, it doesn't matter because, you know, all of us here at Humming Media Group and channelattitude.com will be here to talk every single one of those damn events for all of y'all, just quietly. So, nevertheless.
Or loudly.
Or loudly, exactly. That's true. But, Vet, let's get into some news, shall we? Because apparently Drew McIntyre has reportedly taken an extended break from WWE. I don't know if that's a good idea. If true, I think, I don't know what's wrong with him. I don't know if he's injured. You know, there's all sorts of speculations, but I feel like if he takes some time off, do you think that's good for him right now to take some time off? I guess May, June is kind of a slow time in pro wrestling in many ways, traditionally every year, even though we've got a bazillion shows. But generally, storylines aren't really the greatest during these times. Do you think it's a good time for him to actually take a break?
Yes, and here's why. Number one, like you said, it's a slow, it's kind of slow right now, but that's
Right.
probably, I say number one, but that's probably the least important reason. I think if he's taking time off and people are reporting that he's taking extended time off, that could only have been planned in advance because he just worked last night.
Right.
So it's not like he'd be telling people, hey, I'm taking extended time off, and they're just now reporting it, right? Obviously, this was planned. But the reason that he needs to take time off is, for whatever reason it is, whether he's, recuperating from something, he's filming something, whatever it is, family thing, whatever the reason is, it's a good time. And I'll tell you why. And that is because he's just been jobbed the fuck out for the past year.
Yeah.
Like,
that's what
you have seen Drew McIntyre lose match after match after match, whether it's PLE or just on TV, he's losing to everybody. I was surprised Akira Tozawa didn't beat him. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's had a turn on Drew McIntyre. So he's been looking up at the lights for the majority of his matches. And it's not help, including last night. Because not only did he get beat by Damian Priest, if you didn't watch it, he got beat, he got planted, and Damian Priest casually strolled out the front door and stepped down the steps and left the cage.
No.
Like, completely.
I haven't watched it yet, believe it or not. So.
Well, I'm just telling you now, spoiler.
No, it's all right. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, it's he's like, you couldn't, that's the steel cage equivalent of like putting a foot on a guy's chest, basically.
Wow.
Like, I'm not even worried about you coming after me. I'm just going to walk out the door. So that's where Drew McIntyre is. So he needs the time off so people forget all about that so that he could come back refreshed. And to be honest, probably just going to start doing another set of jobs because let's face it, they clearly don't like Drew McIntyre. They want to use him.
Right.
He's always useful, but he ain't winning nothing. Like, his time of winning stuff and being a top guy are over. Wow. So that's just a harsh reality. And I'm telling you now, in case you guys didn't figure it out, but I think a lot of you at home probably have already seen that coming for a while. But let me just be here to cement that for you. Yes, Drew McIntyre is just going to be the highest profile job guy that you've ever seen.
Damn, dude. Damn, that's a vet starting absolutely hot right here on the Media Group's YouTube channel. I mean, dude, that is hot because the thing is, if that's the case, and I was going to ask you, but you answered my question before I even asked the question, like, does he have some sort of hate with the company? You know what I mean? Do you think? What would they be doing this to him?
Probably not. No, I don't know. Some of it was he should have lost, but then they mixed in a bunch of other losses that he didn't need to take for whatever reason. I don't know if they're just pushing him like to see how far they can get or whatever. I don't know who it is that necessarily has heat with him. If there is somebody, I don't know, but this is extended across the regimes. You know what I mean? Like, this is residual. Like, before they would rib him like with the sword,
yeah, true,
and all that, and
like
the kilt, and like, yeah. Not only they make him carry a sword, they made him name it after his dead mom. That's fucked up.
That's fucked, bro.
Come on,
that's fucked up.
Fuck you guys. So, and I'm not even the biggest Drew McIntyre fan, but I'm just like, fuck you guys. But one of the things I noticed about Drew McIntyre is that he's a mark. So they know they've got him. WWE is his dream job. It's all he ever wanted to do. He never would have left if they didn't release him. So they know that he'll do anything for WWE, and they'll wipe their feet on you if they know that. You have to threaten to be your own man and walk out before they'll start to like give you the, think of all the stuff. Think of all the stuff Randy Orton did in his career, and they just would never fire him. You know?
Don't shake his hand, just quietly.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. I mean, yeah. Look, yeah, that's sad, dude. If that's the case, and I feel sorry for him, it actually pisses me off hearing that. In some ways, the way you put it, because if that's all true, I mean, what do? You know, I mean, if I was him, I'd say, fuck it.
You take the money, brother. As Kevin
know,
Sullivan would say. And that's the thing.
Brother,
like,
yeah.
At the end of the day, if he's a smart man, then he understands that, you know, you're going to get paid the same. But it's only frustrating because you feel like you want to contribute more, I guess, in that sense. But I mean, he is contributing. I mean, everybody he puts over, like, he's helping them out. But it's just that when you have a guy that looks like him, you'd expect that guy to be a little bit more unbeatable.
Absolutely, dude.
So it's WWE's not doing themselves any long-term favors by booking him like this. Instead of putting, you know, in AEW terms, we would call this, Jimmy, you know, Drew McIntyre is a quality win. But
yeah, absolutely.
But
he's too big though, you know.
Yeah, but at some point you should maybe look at, like, okay, maybe we could give them a quality win over somebody else, and then give Drew McIntyre some quality win people.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't know. I look at Chad Gable similar, like Chad Gable's in a similar spot where you can't really tell anybody the last time he won a match, but like he's diminutive. So if you look at him and you see his, like, comedic attitude, and he's always had a comedic since day one, since he showed up with his little towel in NXT, like Ready, Willing, and Gable, like he's been a comedic type character. So he always had that excuse for why he might lose a match. Right. But if Drew McIntyre is supposed to be like this giant badass and then you lose all the time, then that's a little weird. So I don't know. They got to figure it out. But long-winded answer to your question, I think he needs to go away so that there's a chance that when he comes back, people will have forgotten a string of losses and he can start fresh.
Well, that's
fresher anyway.
Oof. Whatever the case, that's a bad one. The way you described how he lost that match, oh my God, dude, that's pretty bad. But keeping with WWE, WWE confirms New Orleans to host Money in the Bank 2026 and future WrestleMania event, just not WrestleMania 42, if you know what I mean. What's going on here, dude? This is like it should be on Unsolved Mysteries at this point.
Nobody knows.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. They did announce that WrestleMania 42 will be in New Orleans, correct?
Yes, and then they announced it wouldn't.
Right, which is bizarre. This is never no.
They're not announcing where it will be, which that's another odd part of the story. So it's leaving people up to speculate where 42 will take place. But it's definitely a strange move, so I have no answers. I'll just say that right now.
Well, the rumors are it's either Vegas once again, which is weird.
That's too weird.
Saudi Arabia is the other one, and possibly the UK. But I'm leaning towards, I think it's either Vegas once again, and I'm leaning towards that. But don't be surprised if somehow Saudi Arabia have offered, because I heard, and this is part of the story. No, I heard this is real apparently. Where is SummerSlam this year again? What city is it in?
Oh God, I remember Cardi B's hosting it.
Right, but she's
I forget where. Example, but I forget where it is.
Let me just double check, because it has to do with that. So apparently the city that's hosting SummerSlam offered like more than like double the money for SummerSlam than what Vegas paid for Mania, dude. So my point is, could it be some Jersey? Thank you guys. So it's in Jersey, and apparently Jersey paid a lot more for SummerSlam and those two nights than what Vegas did for Mania this year. For me, it feels like someone came out of nowhere and outbidded New Orleans with the amount of money. And then like, sorry, no offense, but like such and such has offered us way more money and we're going to cater to them. So that's why I'm leaning towards either Vegas or unfortunately Blood Money Mania. That would be a spectacle, right? Oh my God. It wouldn't even feel like Mania, bro.
It would be weird to have the first foreign WrestleMania be there. I guess it would feel weird for it to be anywhere, but it would feel a little bit weird for that. Like just a little bit obvious that they'd want to work up to that. Plus, I mean, they don't really need it because they get their own shows.
Right.
So
exactly.
They're good with that. I would, on the opposite end, you're talking about somebody coming out bidding, but the bidding should be done.
I know.
Like if you announced it, the bidding should be done. Or if that's not the case, you shouldn't have announced it. As Tony Khan famously said, then you shouldn't have said it. So it could have been something that, on the other hand, maybe it's something broke down with the city of New Orleans that they didn't like. And they wanted to pull it for whatever reason. It could be some political red tape or something that we have no idea, nor do we care about, that could have, been an obstruction that they just rather avoid. So, I mean, but again, we're all speculating. We don't have any inside information, and nothing's official is being reported.
Interesting. Cold Blooded brings up a good point. I wonder if that's taxpayers' money the cities are bidding with. Probably, more than likely. Come on, for sure.
I mean, what money does a city get that isn't taxpayer money?
Exactly. Liz says, I would venture a guess it's a NOLA thing, not a WWE thing. Yeah, but see, WWE giving money in the bank kind of feels like here you are, I'm sorry, have this for free type of thing. You'll have Mania soon. Do you know what I mean? It comes across like WWE somewhere fucked up, but I could be wrong. It could have been NOLA.
Yeah, it could have just been, who knows? More stuff may come out. It may not. No one's going to be necessarily satisfied with the answer. I know that what it does affect is because people book around WrestleMania for all of their like conventions and other shows and stuff like that. So now the StarCast or WrestleCon or whatever things that they try to book around Mania, now they're stuck in New Orleans and WrestleMania won't be there.
Oh shit.
Because they're not going to pull out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a bad one.
So I don't know how much that will affect it, but hopefully they can draw enough locals. So that's like a bigger concern, because the stuff between these billion-dollar companies and these cities and stuff, whatever, they'll be fine. They'll all be fine.
Right. No, definitely. Well, it is a mystery, but we'll see what happens there. But in TNA news, actually, Vet, Ace Austin reportedly departed from TNA. Is that true? Is he gone?
I don't know. At the time of this recording, I have not watched Under Siege, so I don't know what happened. But hey, now I believe he's still. I believe he's still with Gia Miller. So I wonder if she's leaving also, or if she's going to hang out.
Says nothing about her, but we'll see. I mean, he has been there for quite a few years now. If I'm right?
I believe so.
Well, back to now AEW news. Scorpio Sky, as we all know. Remember him, Vet? Scorpio Sky? Geez.
Barely.
Yeah, I know. I totally forgot about him. I'm not going to lie. But anyway, Scorpio Sky has been absent from AEW since August of 2024. Feels longer than that, to be fair. And last wrestle for AEW,
I know we've had some vignettes since then that went nowhere.
Right, we did. And guess what? He didn't debut.
He didn't re-debut.
He didn't re-debut, which is odd. But this is what he had to say on a recent episode of Creating Character Podcast, which is, I didn't even know he had one, but it's Scorpio Sky's own podcast. And he gave his thoughts, and this is what he has to say. My career has sure taken a nosedive.
Wait, hold on.
Yes.
First, I'm pointing out that we are now reviewing podcast comments again. But secondly, did you just say? I know. I was gonna say. Did you? It's always from somebody's mouth. But did you just say that this is his podcast?
It is, yeah. Apparently.
So he had to make his own podcast for anybody to hear what he had to say because nobody wanted to ask him.
You're an asshole.
Bro, even I'm not on my own podcast. I'm on HMG. They want to hear from me.
Oh God, that's hard. Hey, look, man, I didn't know you've been friggin' tonight. I love it. He's
Best
good,
in the world.
best in the world indeed. But you know what, man? I didn't know he had a podcast, so he must have been pretty recent.
Nobody
Let's
did.
be real. Nobody did. So maybe
Nobody knows he still works at AEW. Nobody knows anything. But since we've already brought it up, what did he say?
Well, anyway, he did say that his career obviously has taken a nosedive. I won't read everything. He just basically says he doesn't understand why. He's not been back. He's been waiting to come back. They did the vignettes, right? Like you mentioned, and he was supposed to appear the week after, but then just everyone started ghosting him. Everyone's ghosting him right now. No one's picking up phones. No one's calling him. Nothing's going on. He doesn't understand what's going on, and he doesn't. If he's done something wrong, he would like to be told what that is because he can't figure out what he's done wrong. But clearly, he thinks he's probably done something wrong because why would they be ghosting him like that?
I don't know what he's done wrong. In terms of like his professional wrestling on-screen career, I don't know what he's done right. But
yeah.
This is a human being with a life and feelings. So I'm going to say this with all seriousness. It's pretty disrespectful to treat a guy like that. You can just
absolutely
either bring him in and pay him and work him, or you can cut him, or whatever you want to do. But it's weird how we hear stories from people that work at AEW that are saying like they're getting ghosted, because he's not the only one to say this, certainly not the first. So I don't know why it's so hard to just, and even if people want to use the excuse of like, well, Tony Khan's a nice guy and he doesn't want to do this stuff. It's like, but have one of your lackeys do it, just
simple.
I mean, it's the more you do stuff like this, the worse it's going to be if people decide to go after you. Don't give people ammunition, man. Like the worst thing you can do when people are questioning you for no reason is to give them reasons.
Facts.
Absolutely. Like people have been on Tony Khan's ass relentlessly since day one. They have been unfair to this guy. They have roasted him unmercifully for any little thing that he does that's none of our business or some of our business. And eventually, if you give them enough, if you keep on giving them no reason to do it, you'll always look good. But now, as time has gone on and he's realizing the struggles of being a wrestling promoter, and it's not just as easy as it was to do when you were in college and doing your e-feds and, when you're writing your notebooks and stuff like that, when you realize it's actually a different thing to do it for real, you're going to face a lot of these problems. And it's how you handle some of those problems that is going to be where people are going, because people are always going to shit on you. But at least if people can respect what you're doing, then their opinion of your creativity is not important. They'll just say, well, he's a stand-up guy. He's a good promoter. He's the opposite of a Vince McMahon as far as like treating people well and stuff like that. But instead, it seems like over time, we're hearing him slip into patterns that sound familiar from other people that in the past have been unscrupulous. And regardless of whose fault that is or why, it is happening. So Scorpio Sky, if he even if he did something to be unprofessional to deserve to get ghosted, still just tell him, yeah, we no longer need your services. You could finish up on this date. We'll give you this little severance package or whatever, and you could go about your merry way. This sounds like classic old territory starvation techniques. But the problem is, he probably has a guarantee, so he's not starving. You're just throwing money away.
That's what's real weird, dude. I don't get it. But you're right. Now, at the end of the day, we're going to take this as facts. He does this. We've heard this one too many times now, man. This is what he does. And I'm talking about Tony Khan. He just ghosts his wrestlers, man. Like, if he doesn't want them anymore, he just totally parts ways, man, completely, but still pays them. So I don't understand that working sort of practice that he's doing. But whatever, man. I mean, like you said, just hire someone to fire people for you if you have to.
Well, he already has. He doesn't have to hire. He has plenty of people he could just tell to do it. Just tell Jerry Lynn to do it. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Christopher Daniels, right?
Yeah, well, exactly. That's his gimmick role. Why doesn't it be a shoot role? And who better to break the news to Scorpio than good old Christopher Daniels?
Wow. Yeah, maybe you can have a Snickers after.
Did I ever tell you about the time I was in the elevator in Las Vegas and SCU came in and Christopher Daniels was nice enough to press my floor button for me on the elevator because my hands were full with food?
No, that's actually interesting. So what happened? Is that exactly what happened?
That's exactly what happened.
You in California, obviously, since they apparently.
It was Las Vegas. I was in Las Vegas at the time.
Okay, all right. That's funny. We'll say
I was going to the penthouse suite. He was probably like on the second floor.
Were you gambling too while you were in Vegas, Van?
Nah.
No,
not much of a gambler.
Like the gambling type.
Nah.
Not even like $10. Nothing.
No.
Okay.
Not really.
Vegas, man. I'd love to go to Vegas, but anyway. And last but not least, everything else is just really nothing. So this will be our last news piece. But Mina Shirakawa signs official contract with AEW. I think that's a good signing, dude.
Yeah.
Good.
I mean, we knew
man.
that.
Another one gone from Japan.
I guess it's just. I mean, we already knew she was doing that, so I guess it's just official that she's actually signed it now.
She's all elite. She's got the graphic and everything, dude.
Yeah.
So
she's going for the title tonight. Can she do it, guys? Can she do it?
She won't do it, unfortunately.
Oh, she won't do it.
She won't do it. But
that's okay. At least she's got that guaranteed money waiting for her, even though she will fail.
I wonder how much she gets paid. But she will fail. And for anyone wondering that even cares, I'll just end it with this. If anyone's wondering where Hikaru Shida has been, and I'm sure no one has been thinking about that, she's having visa problems, according to Kenny Omega. Yeah, they can't. They're trying to fix her visa to come back, but for whatever reason, they're clearly not WWE vet. They just can't get that shit done properly either.
Yeah, I find that excuse quite interesting, but
because you know how WWE, they must have contacts all over the world. Obviously, they do, right? They got the hookups, dude. If you got a criminal record, like I said, Australia and the US are two of the hardest countries, no shit, in the world to get in, right? If you got a criminal record, you pretty much you're not getting into either country. WWE, man, they bring. If you got a criminal record, don't worry about it. All good. We'll talk to the government. We'll bring him in. Blah blah blah. It's all good. Not that they're bad dudes. I don't agree with sometimes how strict our countries can be with that. Because if it's a petty fucking thing, it shouldn't be like that. But in saying that, I find that interesting that WWE can actually, fix things on the drop of a hat, and AEW seem to kind of struggle to do things. You know what I mean? In particular, visas.
Well, it's also not a case of like, it's one thing if you bring people in, and then they might have a visa issue, but. I mean, Hikaru Shida has been signed with the company for 5 years, so like,
yeah, plus
maybe I'm pretty sure you had plenty of time to work any problems out. It sounds like just one of those lie excuses that they come up with for like whatever is going on. Or maybe everybody really does just neglect their work visas that much.
I'm telling you, bro. This is Tony's classic ghosting trick, except he's throwing Kenny under the bus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead. So if that's the case, I don't know, man. The company's all over the place in terms of that. No wonder why morale can be so low sometimes over there. I picture anyway. But anyway, who cares? It is what
I think the real answer is she got fat. So,
well, hey, let's be real. She did, bro. I'm not saying she's fat, okay? But she's a lot friggin' fatter than she was never fat, but her face she changed, put it that way, in quick time, man. Maybe fat. It's that. She's fat. There you go.
Little Scott Steiner,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Vet, it's time to sift because we should put our gloves on because we start pretty hot on AEW Dynamite.
Yeah, super hot.
Yeah.
It's super hot. So hot, it's like, well, it's this hot. Tony Schiavone's in the ring. Woof.
Oh, yeah.
Man. Scorching. Right out the bat.
Oh, scorching.
Yeah, Tony Schiavone's going to bring out the men's Owen Hart tournament finalists for a face-to-face. We're going to get a face-to-face.
Jesus.
So, of course, that means it's Will Ospreay and Hangman, Hang Person. There's security out there because we know how Hang Person can get. But Will Ospreay says, hey, don't worry, security. Everything's going to be fine. You can have the night off. Well, not from everything, but at least from this. We're not going to get physical. There's nothing to fight about. We're just going to talk it out like men. He even offers Hang Person a drink. Bold move.
Smart move.
give him a drink. He's asking.
We'll get to that.
You know, he asked, are you drinking? Are we drinking? You never know when he's on or off the wagon. So got to be polite. Will says, he's, yada, yada. He's something to the effect of like, he's petitioning that they should be the main event of Double or Nothing.
Sure. Why not?
They both talk about how bad that they want this, this win so that they can be they got to challenge. They got to challenge the AEW champion. That's what it's really about. But they both, but that's it. That's the thing. Like they both cut these long, like scripted, like very scripted. And Will Ospreay yelled his promo very well. Even if you like, I can't really stand Paige anymore. But
perfect, absolutely.
Yeah, I can't really care about Paige anymore. But he did his part well. His corny dialogue, he delivered it. They both delivered their kind of melodramatic, corny dialogue.
Dramatic.
At least I will say this, because I know it's corny for me personally. I know there's probably some people that liked it. So I'll say this, at least whatever the corny melodramatic dialogue they were saying, at least it told a story that you could follow. Like whether you care for the story or not, at least it made sense and it went somewhere, like as far as like they built up to everything. And I like how Will Ospreay would call back to stuff that Hangman has said, like in his promo. So it wasn't, even though it was fully scripted, at least it sounded like he's reacting. So anyways, they end it friendly, like with the best man win type of thing. And Paige does end up chugging the liquor. So
yeah, dude, did you see Hangman chug that fucking thing, bro?
He chugged it.
Wow.
Yeah. But Liz is right. It did last far too long.
Way too long. Way too long, bruv.
Yeah.
That being
said, again, I'd still take this over one of their matches, which I know is crazy. You want to talk about a hot take in 25? Vet says he'd rather watch these guys do a promo than a match.
Come on, man.
Jeez, I'm dreading watching that match. I'm like,
you're gonna love it.
Oh fuck. But anyway, yeah. So they actually walk back up the ramp, kind of together, and then they stop and look at the trophy, and then.
Oh God!
First
of all,
and before they even made it to the back, Jimmy, before they even got all the way to the back, Tony Khan made it official. It is the main event. It will be the main event. He works fast. Not fast enough to give Scorpio Sky a call, but he will make that main event in the middle of a promo. So,
oh boy, man! I just want to say, look, you're right. Look, cadence, they hit it at the park. The promo cadence wise, all right. The way they delivered that shit, absolutely, it was great. But the dialogue, it felt like all about me. But me. You know what I mean? Like it was too much of like. But brother, I deserve this more than you because my family, my this, my that, you know what I mean? Blah, 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 my cat, my dog. Like, dude, come on, man. And then pretty much Hangman said the same thing practically. Do you know what I mean? It's all about for themselves. And I don't hate you, bruv. I love you, bruv. Like, I could be friends with you, bruv. We could have a cold one, bruv. And, you know what I mean? It was way over, I don't know, man. It was just overdone. You know what I mean? They didn't have to go so dramatic, but you're right. It told the story at least, right? I'm not trying to shit on it because, like I said, Caden's story Absolutely, they hit it at the park. I just don't like the dialogue per se. It could have been done a little better, you know what I mean? But that's just me.
Yeah, and with a little more economy, you could have got it done in less.
Way.
You know, as the great ancient, and you'll know this, Jimmy. You know, as the great Greek philosopher and mathematician Pythagoras once said, "Hey, check out this triangle."
From my dad's island.
But as he also, oh God, Jesus Christ! All right, well, never mind. The joke is fucked up. But anyways, God,
well, it's true, man.
you have no. I wasn't even listening to what you said. I didn't even. You stepped on my. You stepped on my joke. You fucking ruined it.
Sorry.
It's What he really said was, do not say a little in many words, but a great deal in a few. And I think that these guys said a great, you know, they said a little in many words. So, yeah.
That's an understatement, by the way. Yeah, absolutely.
So Moxley enters the building. He actually starts entering the building before these guys even get all the way to the back again. So before these guys even get to the back, Moxley's entering the building and we have a main event for Double or Nothing. So he enters the building, comes through the crowd, enters the ring, and this is the match. It's Moxley and the Young Bucks versus Swerve and what's left of the Ops.
What's left of the Ops?
Yeah, I mean, what, you know.
Another match I felt like drained it to me, man.
Yeah, I mean, who cares about the match? I did think it was funny that Swerve won the match with a very vengeful and hate-filled O'Connor roll-up, you know, because
he was
just like Matt Jackson. Yeah, just like Matt Jackson gave him that small package the last time, he got him back with a vicious O'Connor. Pat O'Connor would be smiling down from heaven at that roll-up because Swerve just had that the fury and the vengeance in his face.
Man, is it just me? But I'm slowly, and I'm a huge fan of Swerve's, but I'm slowly, very slowly starting to not give a shit about him, bro.
What are you talking about? Did you see that O'Connor roll?
Okay,
Come on.
True, my bad. That's my bad.
Jeez.
You're right. That's true. I care again.
Yeah, exactly. Well, surprising knowing this turned into a schmoz, and Shibata comes out, and Marina hits him in the balls, and then Willow comes out, and then Omega comes out, and then they're about to give Matt Jackson a one-winged table, and then
a one-winged table, yeah.
Yeah, and then Claudio comes and saves him at the last second. And then Joe's not done. He gets on the mic and he's like, "We're not finished." So I guess we'll see more later. I don't know.
This reminded me of the end of the old Nitros, you know, when the NWO would be in the ring and, oh my God, it's Sting everywhere. Stings. All sorts of Stings are coming down. All the NWOs coming down. The only difference is usually would end the show at least. Right, not fucking start it. This is weird, but whatever. It's AEW.
It's AEW. And because it's AEW, we get Alicia with the Hurt Syndicate. MJF is there. The lawyers are there. We're going to make this final tonight. They're going to go out to the ring. It's time for the official induction of MJF into the Hurt Syndicate. Everyone signs the contracts, including Bobby Lashley, who once again milks it. Like, I don't know. Should I sign? Like, I'm having second thoughts. So he finally signs it, and everybody's happy, and MJF is in the Hurt Syndicate. It's now official. And then we get the Sons of Texas coming out. And we have to listen to Dustin Rhodes do this thing that he does where he cuts the exact same promo every single time about how much he busts his ass and how he's old and all this stuff. Like, you know, so all that. So we get that speech. So if we hadn't had enough speeches tonight, Dustin Rhodes comes out and he can say that. Yeah, he can say the whole speech, and Sammy Guevara could just stand there like the dolt that he is because he's not allowed to talk, and rightly so. So,
God,
yeah,
you know
what do you
what?
think?
Though I noticed. Did you notice that it was the first time since I've noticed that Guevara and Mane were in the same building.
That's right.
Yeah, so maybe she forgave him suddenly. I hope.
Slow progress. Slow progress. He promised not to rape. He said, "I won't. I promise."
That's just dumbest shit I've ever heard. And I wouldn't even at his age when he said it. Even when I was his age, I would never fucking think of saying something like that, bro. Like, come on. Like, how stupid can you be? Even if it's a joke,
how stupid. Have you seen Sammy Guevara?
Wow.
How stupid, huh? You really want to ask? How stupid?
He seems like a good guy, man, at least. I hope.
Does he?
I think so.
All right. Well, I know a good guy. Kazuchika Okada. He's with Renee in the back, and he says that, Mike Bailey doesn't call him out. I call you out. And then he's like, and then she's like, he hasn't lost in AEW yet. And Okada's like, there's a first time for everything. So, yeah.
And he kept me on the edge of my seat because I'm sitting there going, bitch.
Yeah, is he going to say
bitch.
it? But he didn't say it. He said, trust me.
Yeah, and he knew it. And I'm like, oh, you prick. And then it went to commercial. I'm like, no. He didn't just do that. You know what, dude? Is it just me? Does he speak a lot better English than he leads on?
Of course he does.
Like, I still think of the time where he freaking, worked me, basically, with the English. But he sounds like he speaks possibly the best English out of all the Japanese wrestlers. I'm talking about out of the males anyway.
Yeah. I'm sure. If he's spending this much time here, he must be doing it every day. But I think he already spoke. I think he already spoke better English when he lived in Japan too. So,
dude, they used to have him close the shows like in Western countries, speaking English.
Yeah, of course.
And that's what used to make me laugh. I'm like, now you're acting like you can't speak English at all with me. But here you are later on at the end of the show, doing a speech in English. But still,
right. And I mean, if you talk to, English speakers these days of a certain age, it's like they can't speak English either.
I'm one of them. What are you talking about?
I mean, they spend all their time texting. They don't even know how to speak anymore.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's true, man.
All right. Now we got an exciting match. It's not a traditional title on the line, but it is a title nonetheless because it's the 5-tool player versus Show Some Love for Ricochet like who gets to be known as the Scissor King.
This is all about the Scissor King. You know what? Ricochet is definitely the Scissor King, man. I don't give a shit what anyone says.
Yeah. Well, he took the literal scissors.
Literal.
He's only got... Anthony Bowen's only got the metaphorical scissors,
Yeah, metaphorical. Fuck that. I don't like metaphorical scissors, actually, Vet. So I'm going with Ricochet.
Yeah, if he was doing, if Anthony Bowen's is doing literal scissors, how's that even work? I mean, that's for ladies.
I don't want to know.
He doesn't have a badge, does he? That's not going to work.
I don't know. Well, I don't know, dude. Maybe he's got plans.
Maybe. Well, he didn't have plan. He probably had plans to win this match, but he didn't end up doing it because Ricochet did take the literal scissors and stab him in the face with it when the ref wasn't looking, and then he hits the spirit gun on him. Again, Ricochet's the best thing on this show.
He's won me over, dude. I told you, man. You know how I felt originally about him, but then when you pointed out things and I started paying more closer attention, I can't deny him.
Yes. It's a common thing that when people actually start listening to the vet, they learn a lot of things. They even notice stuff that was always there. But in any case, so not only is Ricochet great, but another great guy that we like, Mark Briscoe, comes out and he brings like the stretcher with him because we're going to have a stretcher match, I guess. And we almost got a Froggy Bow onto the stretcher, but Ricochet did manage to escape. So
he did. Thank God.
Yeah. So I'm actually looking like that's one of those matches where all weekend people are going to be talking about the, Hang Person and Will Ospreay and all these other matches and stuff. But I'm looking at this stretcher match like, could this actually steal the show?
That, and honestly, I'm looking forward to Speedball against Okada too, man. I think that's a great matchup.
How are you going to have a match with Okada because he doesn't want you to hurt him. So
That's why I'm saying.
What is he gonna let? I'm looking at what is he gonna let Mike Bailey do to him? That's the question.
It's intriguing, bro. See, those two matches are probably the most intriguing matches on the whole card for real, man. I truly mean that, and possibly the show stealers too.
Well, let's see. We'll see if we forgot about anything else as we go through these shows. Next is the Stokely FTR promo. And this was long and terrible, and Nigel ended up signing the contract. Okay.
Cool. Congratulations.
Yeah. Renee is in the ring, and she's going to bring out the ladies Owen finalists. Okay, so I did like that they did this for both, because it's weird sometimes when they do something like they'll do one thing but not another thing. So It's nice that they made time for like, okay, we're going to have both the finalists come and do a face-to-face in the ring, like equal. So that's good.
And that's cool. I'm down with that, but there was just so many like segments, bro. And you know, for a 2-hour show, it felt like a 4-hour one. I'm not going to lie.
Right. Now, unlike the men, these two ladies got more to the point. Like Jamie Hayter said her thing.
Yeah.
She talked about being strong and she kissed her muscles, and then Mercedes like, you suck, I'm going to beat you. And also and then Jamie Hayter was like, "Oh yeah, well, where's one of your belts?" And then Mercedes Mercedes punched her,
as she should have.
Right. And Jamie Hayter hits the Haterade, and then Toni Storm comes out, and then she's gonna go to just past all this mess to the commentary desk, and that's because we have to have a match with as you said, the newly officially signed Mina Shirakawa. I assume her visa papers are all in order now.
Oh yeah, it's funny that hers are sorted, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, we assume. Who knows? And of course, she's going to be taking on Dark Julia. And why is she taking on Dark Julia? Because before she has a match with Toni Storm, she needs a strong win.
Strong win. One of those ones.
Yeah. Strong win. So, I noticed too, now this is a minor thing, but I did notice it. Perhaps it has already happened before, but I didn't notice it then. But I did notice it this time. The lyrics in Julia's song used to say, "The house always wins," but now it says, "The heart always wins." So they re-recorded that portion of the song, because there is no house. They're just dogs now.
So now I have to
Where
say
my dogs at?
Where's my dogs at?
Where my hounds at?
The heart always wins.
Yep. The heart always wins.
Where is it dogs at? Just saying.
Well, one broke his foot. And the other's a bum.
One's a bum and one's in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
And I also assume the darkness doesn't end here, though, in this match, right?
Well, funny you should ask, because Mina does win with this fancy pin, but then Dark Julia goes for the Dark Heat back. The deadliest move in wrestling that's only ever been countered once. Yeah. And then then the figure 4 goes on. She puts the figure 4, and then we get a run in from Dark Sky.
Dark Sky wins. Fatality.
That's
Not a flawless victory, but a fatality.
Not a flawless victory.
There's a lot of flaws. Yeah, so Dark Sky comes in, and then Toni gets up off the desk, you know? She gets up off the desk. Now she comes in, she beats up both the Darks. And then,
what the fuck?
I know that sounds bad, the way I said it, but don't worry, they're, you know, at least one of them's white. But
true, fair call.
I'm not sure exactly what Dark Sky is. She could have a little Latin something. She's kind of bronze colored.
Actually? Does anyone know her real name? And is she still with Cole Fletcher by any chance?
Oh, that's a good question.
You know what I mean?
Actually,
Because I feel like they're not together, but I don't know. That's who cares anyway. But like Zane
Yeah, who
says, Dark
cares?
Heat back in the next Mortal Kombat.
yeah.
Wait,
Oh,
we
Zane,
were
have you ever seen the little YouTube like Noob Saibot says the N-word video? It's hilarious.
Are you serious? I haven't seen that.
It's so funny.
Really? I wanna
But
check that
anyways, so as Tony's beating up the Darks, then Mina Shirakawa, they go to they go to like, you know, hey, we're friends or whatever. But then Mina gets a dragon screw leg whip on her. A dirty dragon screw leg whip. And then she puts the figure 4 on the post like Bret Hart.
Yeah.
And Tony's screaming.
She was selling all right. Oh, poor girl. Poor Tony. I mean, you know what, man? I would love for, you know, like Mina to actually win the match against Tony. I'm just bored of Tony right now, man. They're not doing. They need to do more. Oh, they're still dating these. Thanks for the goss. There you go. They're still dating. Jesus. Anyway, it would have been nice if they done a bit more, at least with Tony's character, in my opinion. They seem to have gone a little dry in the well. Seems like there's not enough content for her lately. She's just having wrestling matches, really.
I mean, pretty much. Here's the thing. Like, if you were paying attention to, say, the commentary, then
50-50.
She's probably saying funny stuff in there. But I'm generally not that focused on the commentary because I often have to multitask this stuff. So, like,
right.
Sorry, can't give the due diligence on the announcer's commentary. But I know she's probably being very funny on the commentary because the times that I have listened, she is. But I mean, I don't think that's what you're talking about. I just think that this is what I'm saying. Like, eventually, eventually there's the well runs dry as far as like what the character can do. Not necessarily because of the potential of what you could do with the, like, you could have material, but that's not really the same thing as, you know, the character evolving or changing. But regardless, this is what they've done. So now they gotta figure their way out of it or whatever. And finally, Renee tries to get a word with the Young Bucks. But long story, very, very short, anarchy ensues.
Ooh.
We need a preview of Anarchy in the Arena. So,
God, are you looking forward to that or what? I mean, goddamn, it's going to be an absolute. I don't know, man. I've never been a real fan of these, and I don't think I've praised one since it's even started. I don't know, except maybe one of the earlier ones with Jericho's whatever it was called back then, the Full Circle or whatever it was. The Inner Circle, not Full Circle. The Inner Circle. That one was funny in many ways because of the skits during the show. Like, if you remember when Conan appeared or when there was like, they walked into a nightclub and the music was playing, if you remember that. That shit made me laugh. That's the only thing I liked about any of these type of matchups. But why did I have to like always overdo this match? I mean, they love blood and guts. They should be called all Extreme Wrestling at this point. Why not? It wouldn't hurt.
Yeah. Also, maybe out of spite of the fact that I predicted they would do a blood and guts or that it was time for blood and guts, but then they decided not to. Probably just because I said it. They're probably just spiting me, you know? But
that's an inside joke between me and Zane there with that we've spoken about.
Yeah, so basically that, because in a wrestling show, if you've got a gimmick match coming up, then you got to do something at the end of the TV. Like let's say you got the Royal Rumble coming up. That means a bunch of wrestlers at the end of the show got to get in the ring and start fighting. Like that's just how it is.
It's wrestling 101, man. It's always been the case.
And I don't know. I guess. Does
it just mean, does Kenny Omega look friggin' puny? He looks like just an average guy, right? Like these days. I feel like if you're going to be in the building and be totally in casual clothes, don't even show up on TV. Like, you know what I mean? Because he looked way out of place. And you know me, I'm a huge fan of his. But he just looked way out of place, dude. He just looked like just any Joe off the street.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, Kenny looks big when he's in his wrestling gear,
Which is odd, right?
but
like it's weird.
but he's not that big. But he looks big, and also, you know, brawling is not his forte. He doesn't look good doing it at all. So it's weird when you have guys doing that, which is one of the reasons that it's good that they got Okada out of it, because he's really bad at it.
Right.
You know,
Keep
he
him
may be the
away
best
from that
wrestler in the world, but he's really bad at some, you know, that one thing, which is looking like he's fighting somebody. And that's, you know, so like him having a singles match away from this is what's best, I think.
Thank God, too. And I bet you would have been his own input.
Yeah, but Kenny's not much better, and he's going to be, you know. So, whatever. It's just, this is just an excuse to just do a bunch of stuff. And
I know.
people seem to like that.
Right, I know, I get it. I'm being picky, like I said. It's no big deal. It just, that's what I noticed.
Yeah. So, with that being said, that was the end of Dynamite. They go off with just the Anarchy part. Little Anarchy preview. Anarchy light.
I'm hyped.
Yeah, and then the next night we come back for Collision. So the first thing we're going to do is have Tony Schiavone bring out Adam Cole, baby, because he's going to be on commentary the whole night. Is this going to be his new position? Is he just a color analyst on Saturdays or Thursdays sometimes now?
Dude, it's starting to get that way, it feels. I mean, I'm all for it. Just, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Then we get, so then Tony brings out FTR and Daniel Garcia and Nigel, and then they have their face off. So, because we got to have face off. This was another long talking thing. And this is where the contracts are actually supposed to get signed. So, I'm going to give you a pop quiz if you didn't watch the show, everybody. Do you think that, true or false, at the end of this segment, things got physical?
Well, I can't answer this, can I?
Right. You can't answer. I think you know. Don't cheat. I will give, if you didn't watch the show, I will give you another additional piece of information. There was no table. They had a contract signing where everybody stood up and signed a contract on their feet. So, you think it got physical? Yeah. Yeah, we're not going to have dead air. Of course it got physical. Everybody just did it, you know, everybody started fighting.
Of course. There you go. Right answer.
That's the right answer noise?
That's the right answer noise.
All right. Well, there you go. This is going to be the probably, I mean, it's, again, the intrigue, anytime Nigel McGuinness steps in the ring, there's some intrigue there. It's the other 75% of the guys that I'm just really not, I don't want to watch anymore.
Daddy Magic, piss off. All right, straight up. Go away, please.
I like Stokely.
Yeah,
End.
keep Stokely around, absolutely.
The end, though. But he can't make FTR watchable. You know
what's
that's the thing.
weird, dude? Speaking of Stokely, does it feel like I don't want to say he's not interested, right? But he seems a little sort of, I don't want to say throwing it in, but this week he seemed a little off, man, compared to the week before.
Little unstokely.
Yes, very much so, man, and it stood out for me, dude, for whatever reason. Do you think he's a little unhappy?
I think you're onto something there.
Interesting.
He may not be the biggest fan of this, but
I don't blame him. And he's not the type. He's the type that will actually speak his mind about it too. Usually.
Speaking their mind, Tony Storm gets a vignette here. Usual stuff. Oh man, I couldn't wait for this match. It's the Don Callis family of RPG Vice and Takeshita versus the Outrunners and Bandito.
Wow. Talk about a running match. I mean, you know what though, dude? It was fine. I can't stand RP. What do you call them? RPG, Roppongi Vice. That's what they're called these days, right?
They're called
Why are they always
RPG
here?
Vice.
RPG, whatever that is. Why are they always on Saturdays now? Consistently.
I don't know.
Are they part of AEW now? Just get them away, man. You know what? I used to.
They're in the family.
Whatever, man. Anytime they're around, it ruins everyone else in the match.
Yeah, you're making me not want to watch the Outrunners.
Which is fucked because I'm a huge fan of the Outrunners, and of course, so are you. But I don't mind Takeshita too, believe it or not. I know you're not his biggest fan. I don't mind him, you know what I mean? But then you add these two idiots, I don't know, bro. It just changes the whole match.
Well, then you'll be very unhappy to know, or you must have seen that they did that, Takeshita and Trent did that
the 3-on-2
driver
tandem
thing.
Right.
Yeah, they each had one of the Outrunners, and Rocky came out the top and did a stomp driver to both these guys, so it just beat them both. Apparently, it's legal to pin two guys in a 6-man match, but yeah, there goes that nice strong win for the Don Callis family.
But why RPG especially?
Got to get them over.
For what reason? Are they going to become the new tag champs soon? Is that what's happening? Like,
my goodness, they just might. They
Oh,
just might.
shit.
You could see the Hurt Syndicate is shaking in their boots right now.
can you imagine that, bro? Wow. Imagine that. You want to get people talking about your company, Tony? Go ahead, do that, please. I'm begging you.
Mhm.
Jesus.
Next we get a vignette that's very focused on Gabe Kidd, but it does feature all of the Death Riders. So
Cool.
Gabe Kidd is a Death Rider.
But he's not part of Do you know how he puts it, actually? He's not part of AEW. He's actually signed to John Moxley. That's how he puts it. I kid you not. While he's doing the interview rounds, I kid you not. He's signed to John Moxley. He signed his soul. Doesn't that sound familiar?
It does.
So yeah, Gabe Kidd, Dick Riders.
Yep. You better make sure those checks clear, Gabe.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. Good on him, man. I guess Moxley likes nurturing New Japan guys.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I don't know if he actually teaches anything. But why not? It looks good for the resume, right? I guess, for Gabe.
Sure. I mean, what else were you going to bring him in to do?
Then why bring him in at all? Like, if there's no room. Because, I mean, shit, they'd rather Gabe Kidd than, say, Wardlow, right?
I mean, yeah, I guess they'd rather.
Same with Scorpio Sky. I'm sure there's
They
others.
they get a fresh chance to mess something up.
There we go. Absolutely. I mean, shit, why not?
Yeah. All right,
Actually,
next
speaking
is
sorry, I just reminded me, Gabriel Kiddington, right? What happened to, speaking of Kiddington, what happened to the Billington? The Dynamite kid, not Gabe Kidd.
I don't know. Is he on Ring of Honor now?
I thought he was signed to AEW, that's all. I have no idea. I'm just wondering. It just reminded me.
Maybe he had visa issues.
There you go. That's the answer. 100%. Visa issues. Sorry.
Well, we are ready for a CE Open challenge.
Oof. Are we ever?
And the person that answers the call is Reina Isis or Isis.
Isis.
Reina Isis.
Isis. You could say Isis, I guess. I mean, is that the right thing to have a name like that, last name like that, for your wrestling career?
Yes.
Isis it is.
Yeah.
Or Isis, Isis, whatever.
Look, we can't let the terrorists win, okay? We have to take the name of the Egyptian god back.
Yes, that's true. That's exactly what Isis is. But yeah, no, you're right, man. But she looked good, dude. I mean, she looked good.
Yeah, I guess she did. On the other hand, Money is fat.
Excuse me?
Yeah, did you not see her? Like, why does Mercedes have a fat stomach now?
Come on, bro.
Are you go check the tapes?
Maybe she's pregnant.
Shouldn't be in the ring then.
You know what? I thought she looked good on Dynamite with her onesie.
Yeah, well, something happened in the 24
In 1
hours.
day?
Yeah.
Come on.
Like maybe she lost a girdle or something. I don't know, but guys, come on. You watched this, right? You saw this? What you guys know I'm the only person left that likes Mercedes, right? So I wouldn't lie to you.
I'll be honest. I wasn't really paying attention to her friggin' stomach, right? I'm not thinking anything of it. I didn't think she looked fat, but now you're going to make me look at that again.
She's
for
fat.
some reason.
Yeah.
I mean, Kenny F. and Powers says she's treating herself to some tasty snacks from all the simp money for a $99 text plan. Bro,
yeah, it has to be that.
She's making money. Maybe she's making a lot of money because of that. He's probably right.
Yeah, Labrat says she was eating a jar of Nutella with Fat Randy. That was what it is. She must have ran into Randy somewhere and they must have shared a Nutella. Yeah. Yeah. And Cold Blooded says it takes so much time to respond to text messages that she doesn't have enough time to work out now. That's another good.
Another one. And Todd, thank you for joining us and congratulations, I think, for your last ever event as the bell guy. But he says, I haven't watched this nonsense in a while. You all know that. Yes, we do. Zane says, Royd Belly Randy.
Oh, it's a Nutella. It's Nutella. It's definitely 100% Nutella.
Well, boy.
But
money. I like it. That's a good gimmick name.
Fat money.
Fat money, bro.
Right.
I like it.
Yeah. No, I mean, what good is having all that money if you don't use it, right? You got to live that lavish, opulent,
treat yourself,
gluttonous life.
I agree, 100%, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't hate on that.
Yeah,
fat money it is.
Especially $100 times however many per month, like that. You could just make that your entire food budget, and you'd still be rich. God.
I mean, look, man, I can't hate on the hustle, bro. If there's marktards out there that are willing to do that,
no,
make the most of it.
You can't hate on the hustle. You can't hate the player. You got to hate the game. But I do hate when a pretty girl has a fat stomach. That's what I don't like. Tone that shit up. Get back on the treadmill. You can answer text messages on the treadmill. So let's just do that. And please don't show up in public like this again.
Oh boy. You gotta get in trouble, Vet.
Unless, now this is also a possibility.
What's that?
Maybe she wants to go down the Willow Nightingale path, and this is just the start.
God, no. Imagine that though, dude. Imagine she gained that much that she turned into Willow. Wow. Nah.
Because you know who was part of the $1 Million Corporation. King Kong Bundy. So maybe that's her inspiration for like, their whole rich gimmick. Like,
that'll be funny. She's got chocolate like coming down her like mouth, and she's like, I'm hungry. Like, she just can't stop eating. Hey, that sounds like a funny freaking gimmick. I'm down for that. We'll see how much fatter she gets next week or tonight, actually. Yuck, Zane. Come on, bro. Mm-hmm. That'd be hot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you like that, huh? Chick eating chocolate while talking dirty to you, Zane. God damn it.
And texting somebody else.
Somebody else.
Anyways.
$100 no less.
All right. Enough of the fat shaming.
Yeah, I know. That was bad.
Raina showed up with abs. Mercedes showed up without. It's fine. She did win. So apparently, just because you have a nice physique doesn't mean you're a better wrestler. Raina taps out to the statement maker, and then Jamie Hayter comes out, and she stands at the top of the stage, and she says, hi Mercedes, hi. And then as soon as she's up there, a bunch of security comes out to get between them just to make sure that we don't have any physicality between these two women.
Elizabeth's got something to say, by the way, Vet. She says, dude, she had a burrito, give her a break, and this is coming from a girl who dislikes her.
Yeah. Well, don't eat a burrito then.
Oof. Oh. Damn.
You gotta have a burrito. I guess it was her post Wednesday night burrito.
The more of a mighty fine burrito, it seems. The Zay says big body bends. Oof. Nice. We got fat money, big body bends. You can go a million ways with this.
So that means if she can hit the fat guy cross body tonight, she's gonna take home that trophy.
We're absolute pricks. So anyway, so don't mind us. We're just taking the piss. It's all for good fun. We're not trying to be serious, but this was the worst fat shaming episode on anybody ever in the wreckage. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, look. Okay. Well, here's a couple non-fat guys. Sons of Texas. They get a vignette. This time, Sammy's allowed to talk in the vignette because it's pre-recorded, and they could tell him, "Okay, take 27."
Yeah.
So,
and I love it's appropriate that the pay-per-view is called Double or Nothing because this whole vignette was all done for nothing because they ain't winning.
All right. Well, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Who do you think that Dustin's going to hit the Destroyer on? You think it's going to be Benjamin Shelton?
Yeah, 100% he'll be on Shelton because there's no way Bobby could pull that off, could he?
Could.
A bit big. It's a bit too big. It would be unsafe to even attempt it for someone the size of friggin' Bobby Lashley because you need two to tango for that move, man. It's risky.
So the next match, the two that will be tangoing are Kyle Fletcher and Jay Lethal. A Jay Lethal appearance.
But why? What's going?
Because it was time. Here? It was time for Jay Lethal to make an appearance.
Just to lose again.
Well, he gave it a valiant effort. And Kyle Fletcher needed a strong win. And Harley Cameron,
I forgot. You're right.
And Harley Cameron needed to do like a little insert ad for iDrink or whatever. Are you familiar with this drink?
I am not. I have no idea what the hell that is.
It's some kind of a drink. It was sponsoring this show.
iDrink. Is it?
It's all one word, like lowercase IDRINQ. iDrink. Harley Cameron popped up in a little window during this match.
There's too many drinks, man. There's too many peeps starting all these drink companies. We don't need any more. We're fine. Come on now. Jesus.
I don't know. Can always use another drink. Just ask Hangperson Page. What?
Well, you're in Cali. Usually Cali get all the drinks, don't they, compared to the East Coast? Like the West Coast seem to get a lot more variety in that sense.
I don't know. I never thought about it, but I haven't seen iDrink yet.
And I probably would never see iDrink, just quietly. I doubt they'll bring it here.
Any of you guys ever see it somewhere and you feel like giving it a try? Let us know. Give us your reviews, and we will talk about it here on the show on The Wreckage.
Please, The Wreckage. Yeah, exactly.
Don Callis is out at the desk like he always will be. Always. Anytime his family is. He was out there for the 6th person earlier too. I just didn't mention it, but but he's been running an angle, with Adam Cole all night because Adam Cole's there, and he's got a belt. So, obviously somebody's going to be looking to take that from him, and it looks like it's going to be Kyle Fletcher. So that's where Don's running his mouth the whole time while they're on commentary. Again, I wasn't really listening, but I assume that with those two sitting there, it must have been a verbal war. Then Fletcher even gets in Cole's face during the match itself because he's just toying with Jay Lethal at this point. So he has time to go out there, take a walk by the desk, get in Cole's face, talk some shit. Cole stands up like, I don't know, should I knock this guy out?
And then everyone runs.
Yeah. eventually, of course, Jay Lethal does fall to the brainbuster, and the family beatdown, because of course they got to come in and kick his ass because they're sore winners. Kick his ass, and then the Paragon comes in. Adam Cole's about to step in, but he doesn't have to because Roddy and Kyle run out, and
then the heels all scoot.
They all get out. They're very frightened.
Frightened, and the numbers were even too. I don't know why.
Yeah,
they're afraid of little guys.
Probably.
Wow.
I mean, they're tough. They're very tough. One's the Messiah of the backbreaker. You can't afford to have your back broken with a big event coming up, right?
You're right. That's true.
So Josh says iDrink website has a 12-pack for $35 Canadian.
Okay. Well, if it's Canadian, that's cheap. That's actually quite cheap. That's not bad.
No.
Wait, 12-pack.
12?
That's
12?
expensive. Wait a minute. Would it be expensive, you think? That's a weird one.
I mean, it's not a soda, so that's why it's more expensive, but...
Okay. What is it, like a juice?
I'm not sure. Harley Cameron just held it up for a second. She didn't even drink it.
It's not a soda. 100%.
No, but I mean, I assume it's not, because if it was a soda, it'd be way cheaper than a 12-pack.
Yeah,
a 12-pack here at the most costs around $8 or $9. It's not going to be $35.
Dude, do you know how much they charge us here, bro? That's why I was a bit...
For a 12-pack of what? Let's say Coca-Cola. Well, how much?
No. Wait. For a 4-pack of Red Bulls, I'll give you a good example, right? How much would a 4-pack of Red Bulls go for, say, in the States?
Oh, God. Probably like 10 or 11.
Oh, okay. It's the same price. Never mind. Never mind. Yeah, okay. All right. If you bought Coke, say, like, you get more than 12 though in this like carton.
Well, you generally buy by either 12 or 24.
Yeah, usually I go for the 24s generally.
Okay, so a case of Coke in Australia costs
about $20, say.
Jeez.
That's not bad. $24 on average.
That just lets you know how interesting Collision was, because we're sitting here talking about soda prices, but the actual flow of this segment from one thing to the next was, so Paragon comes in to break up a beatdown, but they're actually scheduled next because they got a match with the Grizzled, Jimmy's favorite tag team.
I was
the
pissed.
Grizzled Young Veterans. Grit your teeth, Jimmy.
You do a good Scottish accent. I'll give you that.
Yeah, they're not even Scottish. I don't know why.
Yeah, they're English actually, but they're from the northeast
from
of
Liverpool.
England. Yeah, but I was going to say they're Scousers.
Liverpool's
and they've got a strong accent. Yeah, it's even stronger than Scottish in some ways. I hate the Scouser accent. It's ugly. Like, it's really bad.
We're the Beatles.
All the north part of England speak weird, like Pack as well. They've got real strong accents, man. And usually the Southerners are more clean, like say a Soraya or a Mariah May, for example. Like, they've got that Cockney clean.
Yeah, they're pretty
accent.
clean,
right? Well, they are technically. You'd think, right?
When they're not bleeding or spit roasted. So the Grizzly Young Veterans do not actually win, unfortunately. They hit the total elimination on James Drake, and that's a wrap. And I guess the ankle's over.
That's it. Peace off.
Yeah, babyfaces win. Strong win.
Thank God. Strong win. Very strong win, actually.
Yeah. But Todd Brantley brings up an excellent point. What's great about the Grizzly Young Vets? They're not Gallus.
Yeah, but they suck too, man. I don't know who's worse. Who would you
easily Gallus?
Grizzled. You
I don't have a problem.
You actually like the.
No, I love Zach Gibson. I love Zach Gibson.
Okay, that's right.
Zach Gibson's he's a main event money draw guy. The other guy is crap. No offense.
Why would I be offended?
No, just him, because I know he probably gets sad every time I say it, but
yeah, it's not. Look, I'm sure they got fans. It's just not for me.
Yeah,
doesn't mean.
And that's the problem. That's a problem. Right. You've got a tag team that shouldn't be a tag team. That's what it is. It's it's just not working out, and people don't even really respectfully book them as a tag team. You know, like anywhere they come in, they do jack shit and fuck all. It's like the same in it was that way in WWE, it was that way in TNA, and it's that way in AEW. Like anytime they go somewhere, people are like, so are they like really pissing people off that much? Like, could it be that they're that everybody hates them? Because why else would you do this?
I guess they look at
not even give them a
good
chance
workers
to
and
like.
that's it.
Can't even beat like an enhancement match or something. Like they can't even no strong win for the Grizzly Young Veterans. Like,
sorry,
you just go right to beating them.
Right to beating them. I mean, when you call yourself the grizzled young vets, whatever the fuck. First of all, how old are they at this point? They're not in their 20s anymore, right?
No, I think they're in their 30s.
Why are they young vets?
Well, they were younger when they started calling themselves
right,
that.
so call yourself just grizzled vets now. Why not?
I don't know. Look, I don't know. I don't know. Obviously, they don't want to give up. But it seems that they really want to make this tag team thing work. And maybe that's what's holding them back. I don't know.
True. I mean, I know you were in a tag team, for example, vet, and not what I'm saying is just say one of you felt like, you know, for example, just say you felt like you wanted to go on your own, right? And it's hypothetical, obviously, right? How would you like, you know, approach it? Do you just be straight out and be like, sorry, but especially if you feel you're more superior and you can go places if that's how you felt? Do you know what I mean? Like, how would you like approach your partner and be like, without trying to be an absolute prick?
I'm sure that it's a difficult conversation for that person to have. Now you're asking me a hypothetical question, but I'm a real person. So like the answer for me is I don't want to strike out on my own unless it's somebody's decision. So like I'm loyal. If I'm going to be in a tag team, it's probably going to be with somebody that I want to be in the tag team with, and I want to make it work as a tag team. So you would have to peel me out of the tag team and force me out because I'm not going to turn on my partner like that. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to because to me, wrestling's wrestling. So whether I'm in tag matches or singles matches, I'm not a mark like that. I'm thinking I'm on the show, I'm contributing. If you want to make me a single, I'll do the single. If you want to make me a tag team, I'll do the tag team. If you want to make me a faction, I'll be in the faction. Whatever the promoter is asking me to do, I want to do a good version of that. So I don't know how the mindset is for the people that, let's say they get put in a tag team, which usually I don't think these days probably doesn't happen as much.
Not really.
I think it ends up happening when it gets pitched like somebody's going to save somebody's career. Like for example, you know, Dawkins would have been released a long time ago if Ford never came along, right?
Right.
And now we can all kind of feel, based on his own comments and other people, that Ford would probably like to be that guy like you're talking about, like for a singles push.
That's why.
But he knows, but he'll know that as soon as that happens, Dawkins is done. So he has to, like, he's the meal ticket.
Right.
And, you know, that's a difficult conversation to have.
Without it making you feel like an absolute, you know, prick, basically. I mean, shit. Oh no, I would feel that way. Like,
right. And you know, I guess to try to answer your question the best I could, I would have to just sit down with the person and just tell them straight up. I don't want to do this wrestling thing of like keeping it quiet, going behind their back, that kind of stuff. I would just be honest, like, yeah, I think I can do something on my own, you know, like not saying I'm going to leave them that day or like, even if it's up to me, you know, but I would definitely tell them what I was thinking earlier rather than later. And then maybe we could come up with ideas together as a team for like how we could split or like how we could kind of both get over like going different ways so that it's not just like, you know, like I would definitely want to still be helpful and make it so it's like, well, if I'm going to have a singles career, they should have a singles career. Absolutely. How do we make that happen? Right. I think a lot of people may not care that much about that, but I would want to.
Oh yeah, I would too. And the thing is, you know, because I bring it up because you had guys like Bret Hart, for example, that actually said, like, at a time, and he said this publicly, I knew I was ready for a singles push, and he approached Vince McMahon at the time to get that singles push, and it seemed like Jim the Anvil 98 obviously was cool with it. Didn't seem like there was any problems, but I'm sure deep down there was some sort of maybe resentment, but he didn't show it. And you could say Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty, because there would have been tag teams where one of them probably felt that way and approached behind their partner's back. And that's why I asked, because if that's automatic heat with me if you didn't go to your partner first. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And, in those situations, like we were talking about the Rockers or the Hart Foundation, the other guys, the Jannettis and the Neidharts in those situations, they had their own personal problems at the time made it that much easier for somebody to be like, well, I can't trust you anymore. Like, you're going to, is Anvil going to mess up Bret Hart's career?
That's true, man.
You know what I mean? So it's like, we got to get you away from him now, because I see something with Bret and you're fucking up. And the same thing with Marty Jannetty, his own worst enemy, I guess. But it wasn't because he wasn't talented. It was just because.
That's why I hate that margin. He's a margin.
Yeah.
I get the thing, but Marty Jannetty was so much better than what the meme says, for example. That's why I hate. I never use that remark really, because I don't believe in that remark. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Now, it's funny that you asked that question, because the way my tag team ended up working out was I could see from the beginning that even though we were supposed to be heels, the people really liked the partner. Like, they cheered for him. So I knew that as we were going forward, I had to protect him, because eventually it could be. I was thinking, I didn't think about breaking up.
He's a huge dude.
I didn't think about breaking up. What I thought of was just like, well, just in case anything could happen. So I want to make sure that no matter what happens, he's protected. So I made sure that I took all the pins. I took all the losses. I made sure that I was unlikable and he would continue to do the things that made the people cheer for him or whatever, so that if we ever split, that he would stay over, right? And I would still have all the heat. So
right.
It all just, like, I thought about that even before it happened. So, like, there was never an official breakup. It didn't end up playing out like that on the TV, but when he did go off, on his own, like after I quit, like, he did well for like what they were doing at that time. So it was important for me to do that, because if I had not had that foresight, I don't know if it would have been as easy for him to make that transition. So I was like trying to help out, like even before I knew there was going to be something,
right.
I was looking ahead of like, he's going to make it and I got to make sure that he makes it. That was what was important.
See,
so
that's very unselfish of you, dude, to actually have that foresight and think that way, because it's got to be rare in professional wrestling.
But that's the thing. That's the other thing too, though. It worked for me because it was still for me also. Like, it was the best thing for me to protect him, because if they wanted to turn, if they wanted to break up the team, I would get so much heat, Yeah, so that's the best thing I could ask for. Right. And then the best thing he could ask for is be the over guy that gets over on the guy that has all the heat. Yeah, right. For sure. It didn't end up playing out like that.
Dude, as well. No, you're right, 100%. But you know what? Seeing your matches and stuff in the past, you did come across as the leader of the two, but you were the guy controlling him per se, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, that's how I described it. I was just like I would say he's the tank and I'm driving it.
That's a good one.
It's basically the way I said it.
Right.
And
perfectly put.
Yeah, that was how it was supposed to be. So that was where part of the heat came from, because people would see me ordering him around and they would be mad at me, And it wasn't even it wasn't abusive. No. It didn't even get to the point of being the abuse angle where your partner can't take it anymore. It wasn't even like that. It was just, that's what I was doing because that was the dynamic. So
right. That's cool.
It ended up working.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but enough about
Thank you for
that.
the insight.
Yes. Oh, no problem. I mean, it was either talk about that or talk about Josh Alexander versus AR Fox. I mean, would you
forgot.
rather?
Oh,
You want to do
poor
5
Foxy.
minutes on that?
I mean, shit. Poor, Fox is just AR Fox is just there to make guys get the strong win, like you said. So it is what it is, man. And but I still feel that Josh Alexander, since his debut, it's like he's not there, bro. Like he's there, but he's not there. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, he's
just,
been the strong win so far.
I mean,
lost in his debut.
True.
Lost in a couple other matches since. So
it's true. No, you're right. But it's like he doesn't exist. I know he's there though, but it's like he's irrelevant.
Yep. But yeah, so that's another. But this is another Don Callis family, so that means that Callis is still out there.
Too many.
Still cutting a promo on Cole. Josh Alexander wins with the C4 spike, which is it's a pile driver, and it's the J driller basically. So
it is.
He kind of slightly modifies it because now that he's in the same company as Mark Briscoe, he didn't want to do it exactly the same, but that's basically what it used to be. So C4 on AR Fox, and then Don Callis cuts a promo on Adam Cole one more time before he leaves the disc. Any thoughts? No thoughts?
Oh, sorry. I was just reading something. That's what's my thoughts of the match. Like I said, AR Fox is just there to get Josh Alexander over, man. No
right.
real. And I didn't care about what happened at the end. I mean,
okay. Well,
this match didn't. I'm not a fan of
strong wins.
Strong wins, but even like I don't mind AR Fox, but give me a reason to care about Josh Alexander, dude.
Well, he got a strong win.
Yeah, but other than that, like, give me something.
Then there is nothing. We've got nothing. We've been trying to get people to care about Josh Alexander for 6 years.
He's an amateur wrestler, correct? He's from Canada.
Kinda.
Build him up, dude. Like, do something.
It starts
I'm not
here.
saying like what WWE's doing. No, but really, like, build him up, make him some sort of killer amateur wrestler. I don't know, man. Maybe he shouldn't be that gimmick.
I don't know what else he can do. If he doesn't have that headgear on, he's just another bald white guy with a beard. I mean, he is anyway, but at least he has headgear.
Cool. Whatever. Team Canada, maybe we need in friggin' AEW. Why not?
Maybe you could switch him out with Zach Gibson in the Grizzly Young Veterans, and no one would notice for a while.
No one would. I promise you, bro.
If Zach Gibson came out with the headgear and like the singlet and said he was Josh Alexander, how long would it take somebody to notice?
I'm telling you, man. Oh, Kenny, fuck, I forgot again, bro. Sorry, my bad. I promise you, man. Just shoot me a reminder because I got a lot of shows to do today, bro. Like I've been pretty busy, but I will give you my thoughts. Don't worry.
All right. Well, if you didn't care about Josh Alexander's strong win, then I really don't know how you're going to feel about this. It's a trios match.
It's my favorite.
A CMLL showcase trios match. We have the team of Volador Jr.
It wasn't in WCW back in the day.
Nope. Magnus and Ruhiro versus Místico, Mascara Dorada, and Templario Holmes.
Órale. pinche cabrón.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Lucha. We needed different luchadors, bro. Místico, legend, I guess, in lucha wrestling, formerly Sin Cara. But I feel like even he's lost a step, quite a few steps actually, dude. He can still do what he's doing, but he's just, I don't know, bro. He's getting a bit old, man. He's not he doesn't have the same spring. Although the one thing I do like about him, he's apparently he's a G, bro. According to Alberto Del Rio, like no one fucks with Místico, bro. apparently he's got Glocks on him. Apparently he's tight with some he's somewhere in some
folks,
barrios
some
somewhere.
folks.
Yeah.
We'll just say some
Some
gente.
nice folks
Yeah.
in Jalisco or something like that, Guadalajara, somewhere around there. But apparently according to Alberto Del Rio, don't fuck with him.
Okay. Well, I wasn't
Yeah.
going to, but that's good advice. So nobody stood out to you in this. I mean, if I look at a match, like when I look at Lucha Libre, I'm like, okay, this all looks similar to me. So what stands out from it? Místico, he stands out a little bit only if you know the rep. If you were just watching this match the first time, you wouldn't see anything.
Right.
Volador Jr. has been interesting. Like, I've seen all these guys except for I haven't seen Magnus that much, and I haven't seen Rujito that much.
Is that
the
Nick
other
Aldis?
four guys I've seen a lot.
The one guy I wasn't familiar with was Templario.
Yeah, I've seen Templario a lot. He's kind of like a Mystico. Like, these guys are just very, like, a lot of them don't have much that stands out. Dorada's the same thing. Like, they all can they all have this similar build and even their gear is somewhat similar. Like, their masks aren't that crazily different. Templario's got because he's got the cross, right? But
That's weird. That looks unique, kind of.
yeah, because it's, the Templar type,
Right,
like
exactly.
that kind of look.
Hence Templario.
Yeah, it's a gimmick, but when you actually see him like in there, it's like I don't really know the difference. So, and that's a problem with a lot of the CMLL guys. They kind of run together a little bit. So I don't know. I didn't really get much from this match, but I mean,
Dude,
it is what it is. Here's the biggest problem. Here's the biggest problem with Lucha Libre, right?
No selling.
No. I mean, yes, but no. The biggest problem is this. When a match like this would happen in 1995 in America, people would be like, wow.
Yeah.
In 2025, people have been seeing Americans copy this bullshit for years now. So it's old now.
WCW and ECW.
Yeah, like nothing of this. Yeah, the WCW and ECW is where we're seeing this. A lot of us are seeing this for the first time because if you weren't trading tapes, you wouldn't have seen it. So now you see it, and it's like, wow. But even then, to see guys like Rey Mysterio, Psychosis, like those guys.
I love Psychosis, man. His theme was awesome too.
Just like people will say the old school wrestlers are better than today's wrestlers, the old school luchadors are better than today's luchadors. Maybe they can't do as cool of the moves, like as okay, like Vikingo. Yes, he can
too, bro.
Vikingo can do a lot of rotations in the air. I get it.
So what?
But a lot of those guys were doing everything else he was doing even back then. So like you're just seeing more of it today. And then so many American wrestlers have tried to hybridize this style into their style. So now every match has dives. Every match has like rope running spots. Every match has these things that Lucha Libre used to be the only place you would see it because it was different. So the whitewashing of Lucha Libre has ruined real Lucha Libre.
I like it. Right. No, you're right. True.
Yeah, cool. It's not that these guys had anything wrong with their match, but
no, spot on.
It's just
it's a slightly
better. It's a more authentic version of like we've been getting Taco Bell.
We get
Taco Bell when these guys come in with like street tacos or whatever, then it's like like it's good, but I'm tacoed out now. I've eaten enough bad tacos that now I don't even want your good tacos. Is basically what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
But you know what? But think about back then. You brought up a good point that made me think quickly. Think of guys like La Parca, right, or LA Park, whatever you want to call him. He got over, right? Think about it. He got over. He was the chairman of fucking WCW because of the chairs, right? Mm-hmm. Psychosis was over. Rey Mysterio was over. I mean, you can go on and on. There's a few others. I mean, you can even say Mil Mascaras back in the day. That was the only
Sure.
luchador I really knew because
Yeah, because he's the only one that would tour,
right,
and people would book him in America.
exactly, and that's how I knew him. You know what I mean? And then all the rest came from ECW and WCW. But the point is, those guys had something and managed to get themselves over in the US, whereas these guys, it's a carbon copy. And it could be, the reason that it's maybe it's not their fault. It could be the whitewashing of Lucha Libre in the first place that's caused this sort of situation. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, man. Or they truly don't have the same charisma as others did in the past. You know what I mean? But there is a difference, man. Those guys back in the day compared to now were much more over than what these guys ever will be. I don't think any of them can really get over, man, in the US these days.
I mean, some of them may be able to, but that's the thing. It's like it can't just be like some guys got over because of the moves. Like I would argue, like, of the ones we were talking about, like, to use a big example would be Psychosis, right?
I knew you were going to say that, right?
He got over because, I mean, his mask looked cool, but like he got over because of the moves he was doing. Not anything else. Certainly was never any promos. It was never any, like, whatever. So
Hoovy got over
eventually, but that was almost a rib. Let's stay focused on let's stay focused on. So a guy like that could get over with the moves, but that's not going to be enough today because, like I said, the same reason, because with the whitewashing or Blanco Libre as Zane Vicious
White
said,
Libre.
yeah, if you're not going to get over with just moves, so it's like, what else you got? That's the difference. Now, personally, for me, Lucha Libre, I like everything about it except the matches. You know what I mean? Because not only because of the same thing I just said about how we're all tacoed out of watching this fake version of it for the past 30 years, all these white dudes copying it and diving and shit. Like, not only just that, but even in its authentic state, whether it's, Arena Mexico or whatever, like even seeing Lucha Libre in its natural habitat, I'm just not a fan of that psychology and that style. I like the wrestlers, like I like the masks, I like the entrances, I like the moves that they do, I like their gear. I like the submissions are underrated in Mexican wrestling. Like they do a lot of cool submission moves and stuff like that. And I like the passion and the athleticism. But when you put it all together, I don't like it. Like I just don't like it for some reason. I like the individual parts. So that's why I always like when a luchador can come to the United States, for example, or anywhere else that's not just with all the other luchadors, and then they can stand out. Like, here's one luchador, look at the stuff he does, right? True. So I like guys like that. And I guess what I was asking you is there one of those in this match? Kind of sounds like we didn't see one particularly.
No, like I said before, really, Mystico is the only one that stands out for me out of all these guys.
Yeah. Another guy that we would have seen a lot in, say, New Japan, for example, is Titan.
Yes.
And even Titan, like, I just don't really see anything that special about him compared to the other guys. Like, they're all have a baseline level of quality with no major standouts. So, I don't know. Yeah, that's just me, though. I wish I had an expert to tell me something else, but.
Well, we're not lucha experts in that sense, right? But the truth is, they don't stand out, not in today's sort of wrestling landscape, man. If they had some sort of personality, if they allowed them to actually show personality, maybe things would be different, but they just don't.
Yeah. Yeah, they got some personality, and some guys do, but sometimes just not enough.
They really don't do enough with them, you know what I mean? They're just showcased as in matches, really.
Yeah. And then like every once in a while you'll get one that is, you look at, they're like they're doing everything right, and then they can't get booked right. Like Escobar, Like who wouldn't want to use that guy?
Dude. You're right,
Yeah.
and he's actually really good now. You're right. It's true.
Yeah. That's just an example. So, all right. But anyway, so for the record, Dorada hits a shooting star for the win, and that's the end of this match. So baby's up. We get a vignette hyping up the match between. This is going to be on the buy-in tonight. Hopefully it influences your decision whether to pay for the pay-per-view, but it's going to be Anna Jay and Harley Cameron versus Penelope and Megan Bain, the Megasis. So
The Megasis.
Megasis.
It'll definitely be on the. Well, you said it will be on the pre-show.
Yeah, it's confirmed. So Statlander's sitting in the stairwell and she's telling Willow, like, hey, I'm a dangerous person and maybe you should be careful if you push me back.
Ooh. Well, that was.
Wait, are you trying to apologize or not? Like, what is the deal?
Oh man, Statlander sucks.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, she sucks in every way these days, bro. She's gone backwards for me, man. I hate to say it, man.
And I guess there's nothing left to say, but it looks like there's been enough talk. It's time for the main event. And I know you're excited because it's Speedball Mike Bailey and Commander versus Rush and Dralistico.
And guess
Back-to-back
who lost again?
luchadors. And
Is
one
Rush gonna-
smiling white guy.
Yeah, well, you know what the sad part is, dude? Is Rush getting rushed out of the AEW the way this is going?
Maybe.
It feels like it, and he cannot be happy. This guy's the type of guy that would absolutely bitch and moan if he's not booked right. But he's been getting loss after loss. He's been getting rushed out, like I said. And his brother, that's also, Dralistico is also his brother, one of his many brothers. If I was them, go join your younger brother in WWE or something, man. Maybe they'll make the most, to this Triple R, for example.
Mm.
I'm sure that there's plenty of ways to get used in WWE right now. I think for them would be the best thing is actually to go over there. Head up north to New York, as they used to say.
Well, head up north to New York so you can get sent back down south.
Back down
To
south,
AAA.
exactly, to Florida instead of Atlanta, like it used to be back in the day. But what's even better, remember
No,
Barbed
further
Wire
south.
City?
Further south. Down
Further south.
Border south.
Do you remember Barbed Wire City? They used to call ECW that instead of ECW.
No.
Or the bingo hall, of course.
Definitely the bingo hall. So it's a match and let's see what happened. Okay, so poor Dralistico. I mean, maybe Rush lost the match technically, but he wasn't going to get beat. That's for his brother to do. So Dralistico eats that one kick that Mike Bailey does, and then Commander hits that, tightrope walking splash that he does, the tightrope shooting star thing. So 2 shooting star presses in a row to win matches. And then Okada walks out and he gets in the ring with Mike Bailey, and then he goes to shake hands and then gives him the finger, and then Mike Bailey kicks him, and then he does a dive on Okada, and then he takes Okada's Continental Championship and does the deadly belt hold.
Could we get like a comedic type of match possibly between these two? I've got a feeling, dude. I don't know why, but I can see this being entertaining but also funny. I don't know why I'm getting that sort of impression.
Well, I'm trying to think if I ever seen Speedball do a match like that. No.
That's true. He's Canadian. No offense.
But as Okada said, there's a first time for everything.
Absolutely, there's a first time for everything, for sure. No doubt about it.
And will this be that time? I don't know.
I don't know. It's an odd matchup, dude. That's why I'm intrigued, by it. I'm actually looking forward to it. I don't know why, but I really am, man. It's more to see if Okada can. I don't know. It's more Okada. What I'm curious to see what he's going to do in this match.
Yes. Can you wrangle this little monkey?
Space monkey. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very curious about that, but I'm also very afraid because everything that Bailey does looks like it hurts. So
He does come across as stiff, bro. Some of those kicks, especially too, and even his flips off the top rope. He sometimes lands right on his opponents, bro. Like, and it feels like he's winding them every time, man. So it's like he doesn't give a shit, and he still smiles, which rubs me the wrong way. You know what I mean?
Here's my promise to you guys. I will carefully watch this match, and I will diagnose everything that happens
Next week.
if anything happens. I'll give a more detailed breakdown should anything interesting happen in this match than I normally do. Normally I'll just gloss over everything because we have a lot of show. But for this match in particular, I will carefully watch and see if anything is different or noteworthy about the way Okada approaches these matches, because it is always fascinating the way he works with different people.
It's a clash of styles, man. Legit. That's why it is. It's a fascinating matchup. Well, are you going to join Brandon on the watch along today or tonight?
It's doubtful.
Okay.
It's doubtful.
I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure yet. We'll see.
You got to watch it anyway. So.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm thinking about it. So
yeah,
I might probably, more than likely, I probably will join. Depends on how, because I need to do the Smack Attack and the Saturday night's main event shows. So that's why it depends on those. If I get them out of the way, and I need to watch Saturday night's main event. I haven't watched Saturday night's main event yet. So right after this show, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to watch it. So I've got a busy morning for me.
Well,
so
without any further ado, that is a wrap. We have brought you all the way to tonight, which will be Double or Nothing. Lots of championships will be decided. And we are definitely going to love every second of all 6 hours of this, or whatever it's going to end up being, with the zero. They call it the 0 hour, but it's really like the 90 minutes.
It's true.
Just, lots of stuff to look forward to, and hopefully we've gotten you ready for that. But
just, buckle up, basically. Buckle up, because it's a big night of professional wrestling. See, so they're going head-to-head, NXT and AEW with their PLE and pay-per-views, correct?
I believe so. Is it not 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern for
Battleground?
Both? Yeah. Isn't it?
I'm not sure.
Well, anyway, whatever it is, it's going to be overlapping it for sure. So, yeah. But until then, I guess we'll just tell you where we can, where you guys can find us. So for me, it's @OpinionHaver everywhere. And for HMG, it is every Monday night, 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, for the Impact Attack with Brandon. Talk about TNA. Every Wednesday, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, Big Ray Hernandez for the Next Level Wrestling Review. We talk about NXT. So you'll get your Battleground review there. You'll get your Under Siege review on Impact Attack tomorrow. And you're going to want to check out Wrestling with Ray Rogers every Friday, Concrete. You're going to want to check out Stevie Richards every Friday, Concrete. You're going to want to check out Limpin' Ain't Easy with Timmy Baltimore every Wednesday, Concrete. He's got a... Dude, you know who Timmy's got on this week?
Who's he got this week?
Somebody that you may know from when you watch later today, when you watch Saturday night's main event. You may see the Secret Hervis.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I knew
Chelsea
that. Chelsea.
Green is going to be on Limpin' Ain't Easy with Timmy Baltimore. So nice, Timmy. Good job, buddy. All right. So that's it for me and the affiliates. What about you, Jimmy? Everything that you're up to?
Well, for me, look out obviously later on tonight for the Smack Attack and the Saturday night's main event review shows. Well, SmackDown and, of course, Saturday night's main event. But also, look out Tuesday mornings, 10 a.m. Eastern, every Tuesday mornings. For I Like a Raw is myself and Big Ray Hernandez. And, of course, the Smack Attack every week. And, of course, that Wreckage every Sunday mornings, 11 a.m. sharp, right here on Hammy Mini Group's YouTube channel. I'm glad we're back, first of all. after last week's debacle, vet. But finally, we're back into the HMG, so we'll be all good from this day forth, according to Big Ray. Thank you, Ray, just quietly. Yeah, that's it from me. So look out for that tonight. And until then, it's a wrap, vet. I am Jimmy T. He is my co-host, Jamie the Vet Williams, the best in the world, that is. And you've been listening and watching the
Wreckage
live right here on Hungry Media Group's YouTube channel, and of course, channelattitude.com after the fact. And till next time, we're out. Peace.
This is Channel Attitude. Your voice, your right, your freedom.